As we are now in the second phase of 2.1 and with players likely wrapping up with the summons for Yanagi and Alice, the next characters to look forward to would be our Obol squad members Seed and Orphie. Though Seed in specific will be the character releasing first, and considering her unique playstyle as she does control a massive mech during combat, alongside her damage potential as our new electric attacker, it does seem like she will be a great DPS overall and will feature a few new mechanics within her kit. So for those that are perhaps interested in picking her up when she does release, I'll be going over the ascension and skill upgrade materials required, team synergies she would be amazing in, viable W engines, disc drive sets that can be utilized, then to wrap it up with Seed's overall value and whether or not you should summon. As always, if you are interested in more ZenlessZoneZero content, would very much appreciate it if you could subscribe and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. But just before we dive right in, if you are perhaps looking to pick up some monochromes to ensure you can pick up a character or two next update after possibly being drained from the current version banners, then you'll definitely want to check out this sponsor. Lootbar is a reliable and secure top-up platform that allows you to pick up game currency for an even lower price than in-game. Such as with ZenlessZoneZero, you are able to pick up selected items with up to 23% off. So if you are thinking about picking up some polychromes or even simply just renewing your Internet membership, then you may as well pick it up using Lootbar to save some money. All you need to do is head to the website and click on whichever pack you would like to pick up, then fill out your game account UID and server region, choose your preferred payment method, and in a couple of minutes you will receive your polychromes. Also, as usual, the double top-up bonus will be provided even when going through Lootbar, so you aren't missing out. Lastly, as of now, new users are eligible for a 10% off coupon along with a bunch of other coupons for an extra discount. So again, if you are looking for a quick and safer way to pick up discounted game currency than other websites, be sure to check out Lootbar through the link in the description. Jumping into this with the materials Seed will require, and given she has been confirmed to be an electric attacker, it does mean she will firstly require the usual amount of attacker certification seals in order to ascend her to max level. Following on from that, she will also need all 3 types of shock chips to upgrade her skills. As for the weekly boss materials, Seed will require a total of 9 Exuvia of refinement drops from the newest notorious hunt, and as for the expert challenge materials, a total of 60 Mortal Cleave drops from the Lumberjack boss will be needed to completely max out the core skill. So fortunately for those picking up Seed, you are able to pre-farm all of the materials before next update. But also do bear in mind you would need 5 hamster cage passes alongside 3.7 million dennies in order to completely max out Seed on release. Now in terms of compositions to utilize and Seed's versatility, with the fact that she is likely going to be a burst damage dealer just so she has a different playstyle to our current best electric attacker, it does mean Seed has potential to play alongside many other attackers that do require a lot of field time and so would have solid versatility. However, without a doubt, Seed will synergize the most with Obol squad members, and judging based off previous version updates, the best composition would likely consist of Seed and Orphie that do drop together alongside Trigger, with Seed being the main burst damage dealer and Orphie expected to deal considerable damage on field and off field, whilst also potentially providing additional damage buffs for the team like other sub DPS characters, then with Trigger also being able to inflict daze and damage with her aftershock attacks and increasing the stun damage multiplier by 35%, it will be pretty expensive considering it is a premium team, and even more so for those that didn't pick up Trigger on her initial release. But it should perform incredibly well overall and not find much difficulty in clearing majority of content. Although I don't expect every player picking up Seed would be able to form this composition, and especially since again both Seed and Orphie are dropping in the same version update. But that's completely fine since there are numerous alternative compositions such as possibly replacing Orphie with Soldier Anby. Again, I do want to stress that this composition does rely on Seed focusing more on dealing burst damage, which most likely will be the case given Soldier Anby is already the combo attacker for the electric electric attribute, but also since it's been rumored that Seed does want to be paired with another attacker, which does mean being a burst damage dealer would be ideal in order to synergize with most attackers. So with that said, and considering Soldier Anby currently does struggle to compare with other meta damage dealers, Seed may perhaps then provide that extra burst of damage alongside Soldier Anby to then perform closer to other top tier compositions. Aside from that, there would be some other attackers such as Evelyn, Soldier 11 and Ellen that each do require a lot of heal time similar to Soldier Anby, which means they could certainly benefit from Seed dealing a massive burst of damage whenever she does switch onto the field. Now, as for some alternatives for Trigger in the support position, there are in fact a handful of characters such as AstraYao, Caesar, Rina, Nicole and Lucy, which are all capable of providing meaningful buffs and not taking up much field time, although it's a given that support such as Astra and Caesar would be the best alternatives due to the amount of utility they are packing in their kits. So as mentioned, there are numerous compositions that you can slot Seed into if you don't have the premium composition, allowing her to hold great flexibility for many accounts regardless of what stage they're at, alongside holding a solid amount of long-term value for future characters that release. Moving on to some viable W engines, and before anything, as usual, the signature will be the W engine that allows Seed to perform at her best, which means for those that are looking to use Seed long term and to have a bit more comfort in clearing difficult content, it would definitely be advised to pick up the signature to allow her to be as effective as possible. However, even with that said, there are in fact some great alternatives that can be utilized and may provide enough value to consider skipping the signature, such as the Severed Innocence, which is Silver Soldier Anby's signature W engine. Of course, only if you aren't using Anby with Seed and do have a W engine, then it will be a great option when considering it provides a total crit damage bonus of 108%, alongside a 20% electric damage bonus once reaching max stacks of crit damage. So especially with those crit damage stacks being accumulated either through basic attacks, special attacks or aftershock attacks, it will be quite easy to obtain those stacks and for Seed to make full use out of the W engine. On the other hand, there is the Zanshin Herb case, which is made for another electric attacker and so would be great for Seed since she can utilize it to its max potential. In addition to the crit damage main stat, it will provide 10% crit rate bonus unconditionally, and when dealing dash attacks, a massive 40% electric damage bonus is obtained alongside another 10% crit rate bonus when any squad member applies an attribute anomaly or stuns an enemy. So there will be a few more requirements to meet with the Zanshin Herb case in comparison to the Severed Innocence, but it will still provide incredible value as an alternative to the signature W engine. Now aside from those two, there's also the Heartstring Nocturne and Myriad Eclipse that each provide a generic crit rate and crit damage bonus via the main stat and passive, alongside the Brimstone which provides a considerable attack bonus overall. Lastly, there are some A rank alternatives consisting of the Cannon Rotor and Makato Desire that can provide crit rate through the main stat, then the Starlight Engine which would be your last resort as it does provide a solid attack bonus. So all in all, there are various alternatives that you can opt for if you don't go for the signature, but unless you do have either Harumasa or Soldier Anby's W engine to provide, the signature would still be worth considering since it's pretty standard practice to aim for both the DPS and the signature so they perform at their best. Lastly, as for the disk drives, there are a few combinations of sets that currently can be used for Seed based off the fact that she will be an electric attacker. But given there have been some rumors regarding new disk drive sets releasing next update, alongside the fact Seed will have a bit more of a unique playstyle, it would be wise to consider the chance a new disk drive set will release in version 2.2 and will be extremely useful for Seed. So with that being said, it might be best to actually wait till the live stream in a couple of weeks, just to ensure you don't waste your stamina grinding disk drives that aren't going to be the best to utilize. In the event there isn't a new disk disc drive set tailor-made for Seed, both the Thunder Metal 4-piece set and Woodpecker Electro 4-piece set would definitely be viable options, considering the Thunder Metal set will provide a 10% electric damage bonus and a 28% attack bonus when the enemy is shocked, whilst the Woodpecker Electro set will provide 8% crit rate and a 9% attack bonus when landing a critical hit with various attacks. Though it's worth mentioning with the Thunder Metal set, it would be much better to use if Seed is alongside other electric characters, since then the 28% attack bonus would have better uptime and wouldn't rely just on Seed to activate. It is also worth bringing up the Hormone Punk being a viable set to use if Seed ends up being a burst damage dealer, since the attack bonus it does provide through the 4-piece effect is centered around attackers switching onto the field and dealing damage within a short window, which might then be perfect for Seed if you are going to be utilizing her with another attacker. Then as for the 2-piece sets to go with, the same sets I've already mentioned can definitely be utilized for their 2-piece effects, alongside the Astral Voice for the additional attack bonus or the Branch and Blade Song for the additional crit damage bonus. So as mentioned, there are quite a few combinations you can utilize, and the best option to go with as always will majorly depend on your substats. But once again, I'll stress the fact you should probably save farming for disk drives until the livestream does showcase what to expect next update. Now as for the stats to prioritize on those disk drives, the 4th disk drive will likely want either crit rate or crit damage, and picking between them will majorly depend on the W engine you do opt for. The 5th disk drive will most likely want electric damage bonus, with attack percent being a viable alternative. Then lastly, attack percent is going to be the one to aim for on the final disk drive. In regards to substats, as usual, crit rate and crit damage would be priority, following up with attack percent, flat attack, or pen. Overall, Seed is going to be an incredible attacker that should be capable of dealing fantastic burst damage and synergize within various compositions, but as mentioned will most likely synergize the most with other Opal squad members, and especially Orphie that is going to be dropping alongside her. Now it is worth pointing out, with the fact Seed is potentially going to be a burst damage dealer, which also does want to be paired alongside another attacker, it does mean you probably shouldn't expect for her damage to be on par with the DPS of a hyper carry. Although with that said, she does bring forth a new wave of dual attacker compositions that may now close the gap between anomaly compositions and attacker compositions. So ultimately, Seed is going to once again be a great attacker, but whether or not you should even consider her would be down to if you already have or intend to pick up other Opal squad members, or if you have specific attackers such as Evelyn and Ellen that do consume a lot of field time to synergize alongside a burst damage dealer, alongside the most important factor being whether you even need a new DPS. If any of those factors do apply to you and you are capable of utilizing Seed alongside her desired partners, then it would definitely be worth considering her next update. Otherwise, she isn't going to be a must pull and can definitely be skipped without losing out on much. But it's still fair to say the big difference between her and other attackers is that she will be the key to dual attacker compositions, which does make her even more valuable as an attacker, and especially when considering her long-term value. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would really appreciate it if you could subscribe for more ZenlessZoneZero content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Also drop a comment down below on whether you will be picking up Seed or will you be skipping. And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.